My name is Defy. I'll be the host for these videos.
And my name is Bellion, the leader for Alliance this tournament, and Defy's co-host.
This is the 2024 Stardust Tournament, the second match so far, after Alliance and Halo. This match is Star Wars versus SBY. Currently, both teams are backing up to 52.5 kilometers so we can begin this match. On the Star Wars side, we have a bunch of Assault Frigate Mark 1s, 4 ISD-2s, a broadside cruiser, and an immobilizer. And on the side of SBY, we have a lot of Congos, 3 Mutsus, 1 Murasame, and for our tier 3s we have a Dreadnought and a Nelson. There is also a Storm way back down there. I believe it's Shiroi in the Storm, and he is going to be playing point defense. I'm going to assume against Star Wars missiles. The match is going to begin shortly here, and we will be back when the match begins. Okay, the match is going to start in around 40 seconds. Currently both teams are lining up, getting ready. Cog is a spectator. He is the tournament manager. Population is also a spectator, likewise in a Pelican, like me. Wolfsteer is also a spectator, and Mindebug is also a spectator. So, besides those players, everyone on both teams is ready and part of the match.
And the best of luck to both teams.
This is going to be rather interesting. Both teams here are rather experienced. Druid was the former commander for Garmelas, I believe, the previous tournament. And Tank Killer was the leader for Empire. Oh, and the match has started.
Look at all
Lots
those
of missiles coming out.
Is that a Tector I see?
Broadside is sending out missiles, and I believe they have a Tector. I saw proton torpedoes leave one of their ships.
There definitely is a Tector.
SBY shooting their missiles down valiantly, but a lot of them do connect with Murasame, and they're opening up with spinal shocks in return fire, seemingly targeting Tank Killer and his ISD. Congos are fanning out and receiving return fire from Star Wars. It looks like they're all going to keep a tight formation and attempt to flank the Star Wars team. Although I'm not quite sure how well that's going to end up for them.
It looks like they're trying to dive in the cover.
Tubo way in the back, getting his distance in his broadside, trying to stay out of fire. Tank Killer's taking a lot of damage here, a lot of heat, and the Star Wars is mostly concentrating their fire on the lead ship here, which is the Nelson, unavailable. Tank Killer's taking critical damage. Tector is the first loss of this match.
Told you it was a Tector.
Star Wars has lost a ship. Moving on to Commander Spades, it looks like, for SBY. And here the second volley of Spinal Shocks come. And that's 2-0.
SBY looks really spread out here.
Looks like SBY is concentrating their fire very well. Star Wars looks like they're still focusing fire on the Nelson, but unfortunately a lot of their shots are missing. That's 3 down, and the 4th Star Destroyer is about to go down as well.
If it were up to me, I would have put the smaller assault frigates up front to help draw fire away from the ISDs.
And there goes the 4th Star Destroyer. The Assault Frigate Mark 1s are now pushing up. It looks like they're
To be honest, they're kind of
cooked. I'm not quite
cooked.
sure what they're shooting at, actually. The Nelson there is actually not taking any fire, it looks like. Yeah, the Nelson's not being shot at all. It looks like the Assault Frigate Mark 1s are trying to focus down Druid? And he is currently dodging most of the shots, unfortunately, for Star Wars. There goes the Assault Frigates. They've lost 2 so far. Gamma Reeve is being targeted right now. And besides him, actually, Tank Killer, who has spawned back in his ISD, or his Tector, is being targeted already as soon as he spawned. Star Wars is respawning, looks like Dreadnoughts. Dreadnoughts are coming back in. Devastator is the pick for Tank Killer. Unfortunately, Tank Killer is dead already. SBY is opening up on all of them. They haven't suffered any losses yet.
The SBY team has got itself a nice piece of cover, and it's gonna be hard to dig them out of it.
Yeah. It looks like Star Wars is repositioning to the top spawn, and they're going to regroup for a second run. The SBY team looks like it's just cleaning up the remainder here. There is an MC-75 that's currently being focused down by all of SBY. There's also an assault frigate Mark 1, very, very close to their lines right now.
Those two ships look really separated from the SBY team, don't they?
So this separated element here, that of the Star Wars team, a lot of their dreadnoughts are spawning down here. And it seems that they are being targeted because they are currently separated from their main force, which is back there.
I think the dreadnoughts that spawned in the back
oh no, it
aren't
looks like
supposed to be there.
they brought two broadsides, so it seems the Star Wars team has switched their strategy to missiling the SBY ships. And that's the first SBY loss. We've seen a Murasame go down.
It looks like SBY is splitting their fire between two targets.
It looks like the dreadnoughts are actually holding their own pretty well. They're hiding behind cover, regenerating their shields. Tubo is currently getting targeted by the spinal shocks on one Congo, and SBY seemingly is currently regrouping behind a rock, trying to group their point defense together, it looks like.
Definitely looks like it's working. Those concussions are really getting through to do a lot of damage.
Carbon and Jeremy out on the offensive, swinging wide. Tubo is about to go down from spinal shocks as they return fire with concussion missiles and borons.
It looks like those dreadnoughts are making their way over to the SBY team.
Dreadnoughts are pushing in, along with two MC-75s. Where are their other tier 2s? It's currently interesting. Star Wars team currently is communicating to hide behind the rocks and recover. Aurora's taking some fire here, he might go down soon. Same for Gamma-Riva, who is currently pushing in his dreadnought against Aquils.
He seems so far ahead of the rest of his team.
Fortunately, it does look like he's going to go down. He's taking a lot of sustained fire at the moment. Both teams are seemingly in a state of trench warfare.
Just like the Creek, huh?
They're all hiding behind rocks, and generally there isn't a whole lot much engagement happening. Looks like SBY is using cover to negate the damage from both broadsides out there in the distance. Aurora has respawned a Lancer. Meanwhile, the dreadnoughts are being cleaned up. Oh, there was a loss of a Congo. But currently, at this rate, Star Wars is taking much more losses than the SBY team is.
I think that they need to regroup instead of spawning
concussions
one by
on
one.
Haruna, who just spawned and is separated from the rest of their team. They're taking hits, but I'm not sure if Star Wars is going to be able to kill them before they get back into cover. Currently, SBY is all grouped behind this one rock here.
That assault frigate is so dead.
As Star Wars tries to push up to them and get them out of cover. This assault frigate Mark 1 here is going to take a lot of fire as he turns the corner, and he's gone.
Absolutely obliterated.
Aquil's taken out in a Mitsu. Currently, SBY has 4 losses. Star Wars has 17. This isn't looking too good for Star Wars. But unfortunately, they are having to push up to the SBY position because their fighters are currently harassing. It looks like OMG train.
Star Wars is so spread out, they need to regroup soon.
Unless Star Wars can push around that rock and fight them head-on with their lasers, it looks like they might just be fightered to death here unless they bring some other Mon Calamari capitals. Tubo and Tank Killer are still out in the distance with their broadside cruisers, throwing down missiles as fire support. Aquil's out here is also currently separated from the rest of their team. It's being targeted by missiles from both broadsides, but it doesn't look like either broadside is able to get much damage in. Here comes the second volley. These are concussions from a dreadnought. And unfortunately, I believe only 2 made contact. Currently, the Star Wars team is very separated in this oblique shape, and SBY is all gathered behind a rock.
They're making good use of cover. What can I say?
Here comes Druid poking out with his Dreadnought, taking shots at the broadside. Missiles are coming out from the SBY team. There goes Final Shocks. Looks like this might be the end of that broadside. They're pushing out from behind the rock, and they're coming out of cover. I think this is the chance for Star Wars to get some ground back if they can lay down some heavy fire. And that they are. They're putting their hurt down on. A lot of these ships have lost their shields.
Or at least the ones that have them anyway.
Storm currently being targeted for its scary point defense. Star Wars is losing players, but will they take out the SBY ships in return? There are a lot of SBY ships currently at low health. Panda, Jeremy are both at pretty low HP at the moment. And it looks like they might finish off Panda.
Star Wars has
with enough concentrated fire and a use of missiles. Or he gets away with just a sliver of life remaining.
Only lightly used.
There isn't a whole lot of ship left there for him. As for Star Wars, it looks like the SBY team is continuing to hammer down on them at the moment. Tuba has respawned in an ISD, and he is shooting away at Carbon, currently, who has peeked out a little bit too far in front of that rock.
If they let those Star Wars ships get too close to them, this might be the end for that little group behind the rock.
Here comes the Interdictor, and his interdiction field is up at the moment, but I'm not sure if it's doing anything because of the bugged interdiction state at the moment. Tubo is taking a lot of concentrated fire here from the entire SBY team. Panda has been knocked out in the process, and here comes Star Wars pushing in. It looks like they're putting some losses in now. That's 2 kills from Star Wars on SBY.
There are a lot of unused guns sitting behind that rock.
Looks like Ackles is taking the brunt of the fire at this moment. Although he is successfully evading most of their fire. Tubo's pushing in aggressively, leading the charge. There are 3 Dreadnoughts behind him, as well as a Lancer, 4th Dreadnought up top, and the 5th Dreadnought way in the back. Unfortunately, the ISD is dead, and so the Dreadnoughts here are probably going to start to take a lot of fire.
They had to push up with him earlier.
Ooh, a missed shock there from B-Tool.
El Bozo.
There goes another Congo. It does look like Soggy Waffles here is going to take fire and lose his ship. I'm not sure why he stood so still. In my opinion, he should have moved a little bit to evade some fire. But regardless, they are starting to put the hurt down. SBY is losing players a lot faster than before. Looks like Druid's about to go down here, and there goes their Dreadnought. That goes, both SBY Tier 3s are down.
Star Wars should ride the momentum of this push.
Oh, here's the Justice. This is the Tier 3.5 that everyone's fearing in this tournament, just because of how strong it is.
The one that should really be Tier 4.
Out it comes. Star Wars is putting up a lot of point defense here with their Dreadnoughts, and it seems to be holding their fighters off. Doesn't look like any of them taking damage from fighters. Carbon is out here pretty separated from the rest of the group, and so he's taking a bit of fire from the broadsides. They're still alive in the back. Or, sorry, the singular broadside. Tankular. Carbon might be stuck there. He's currently not moving. And I'm going to take a guess that the Star Wars team wants him dead. Tubo's moving in and opening fire on the respawns as Druid respawns in his Dreadnought.
And Justice approaches menacingly.
And it looks like the rest of Star Wars is following behind Tubo.
Those Dreadnoughts have to be right behind the Justice.
It seems their grouping is much better this time. They're a lot closer together, and they're moving in as one unit. Currently, there's a lot of SBY ships behind this rock that are, I would say, all pretty screwed as soon as that Justice turns the corner with the rest of his team.
Yeah.
There goes Carbon. Kiroshima's gone. The isolated ship is dead. That is a Tier 3, so that's their, I believe, 3rd Tier 3 loss. Nelson is dead. Whoa, wait a minute. Unless Kiroshima's 2.5. There's a Nelson up here that just died. Druid is currently down here. If Kiroshima is a 2.5, then that would not be their 3rd Tier 3 loss. And that Nelson would be. Currently all of SBY is behind this rock. Tubo is pushing up to them with his Justice along with the rest of his team.
Those SBY ships have got to start running.
There are a lot of Dreadnoughts here with a lot of firepower. it might be over for everyone here. All the SBY members behind this rock might just be screwed, as Druid puts out a wave motion gun on the MC-75.
Oh, here it comes.
It looks like the Dreadnoughts are pushing on the rock. Tubo is not there to support his teammates, it looks like, at the moment.
Dreadnought is going to get
one of the Dreadnoughts gets shredded apart by SBY fire. But it looks like everyone else here is going to be torn apart by Star Wars at the moment. They're getting pushed hard. As all the respawns come back in, there's the Nelson again. And Carbon and Shiroi in the back. But it doesn't look like they'll be able to save their teammates in time.
Those shock cannons are doing absolutely nothing to
Tubo
that
currently
justice.
dueling Ackles at the moment, as all the Dreadnoughts swarm the SBY team behind this rock.
The 30,000 Dreadnoughts of Star Wars.
It looks like SBY is regrouping behind another rock, with Carbon and Shiroi. Druid is laying down a wave motion gun on the on the Justice.
Ew, those shields are getting low.
It looks like Star Wars is just about done mopping up the rest of the SBY team here. But I will say though, if Tubo doesn't back up real quick right now, he's going to probably take a lot of damage to his hull from Druid, who's currently pushing. Druid is pushing his advantage, trying to take out this Justice, which is currently pushing the momentum of their team. Unavailable, pushing in hard in a Nelson. I think that's a pretty questionable move.
I think they really want that Justice dead.
I don't think there's any need for Unavailable to push in so far ahead of his team. Especially considering that was a respawn.
Look at him though, he's hammering the Justice now.
But he is currently pushing Tubo, who is almost dead.
Will be dead.
And there goes the Justice! The also feared tier 3 in the entire tournament.
YOLO Nelson for the win.
Unavailable is out. So is Tubo. Harunahime is out. It looks like both teams are currently sustaining very heavy losses. Star Wars has lost the momentum of their push. It seems an SBY is going on the counteroffensive, it looks. Aurora Ops, I think, desperately trying to make it out of there alive.
You think Aurora's
as
quite
the rest
dead.
of Star Wars regroups next to Skilpo. Fortunately, the Lancer gets taken out by a Spinal Shock from Mitsu.
Look how much that attack scattered the SBY ships low.
Star Wars is currently trying to regroup behind the rock.
Back to the trenches,
Skilpo. SBY is also regrouping with the Dreadnought, it seems. Ackle's taking a lot of heavy fire from the remaining broadside cruiser up there, as he fires his Spinal Shock into the void.
Truly excellent aim we're going up against here.
The MC-75 is currently pushing up to face the SBY team, it seems. He's taking a couple of hits from missiles, although he isn't taking a lot of return fire back. It seems all of Star Wars is currently behind that rock at the moment, as Druid opens up on gaming power and strips him of his shields. Not quite sure what he's in, but I'm going to guess a Dreadnought as well. SBY is pushing forward out of cover. They're letting their Spinals go loose on the ships ahead of them.
That MT-75 might want to start running now.
It looks like Soggy Waffles here is going to lose his ship, as he's unfortunately taken out by the absolute hail of fire coming from SBY here. Seems Star Wars might be running out of players. I don't see any respawns coming in.
They've got
The
5 ships
MC-75
left.
is currently behind the rock. Victor X taking damage from the lasers being fired at the front of his ship as he retreats behind the rock to recover his shields. Gaming power here is being shot continuously in the meantime, as he is the only exposed member left in the Star Wars team.
Well, this is very eventful, isn't it?
He is currently in a Dreadnought, as SBY continues to push around. It looks like they're starting to push around the rock now, and they're concentrating this MC-75 as one of the last remaining capitals that Star Wars currently possesses. As Skilpo tries to take cover behind this rock to regenerate his shields.
And here comes SBY to finish the job.
I think the rest of Skilpo's teammates are going to have to come out here to try and support him, because otherwise he's going to get pushed by the horde of SBY ships coming around this rock right now.
I don't think they will, though.
Firing off protons at Druid as they make a couple of contacts. And here comes a salvo from the broadside, doing a lot of damage. And Druid misses his wave potion gun on Skillpo, who manages to get behind the rock just in time. Here comes another salvo of concussions from someone, presumably a Dreadnought, as SBY regroups behind another rock.
10 feet is a lot of ground gained.
Skillpo taking damage from fighters. His teammates are a bit far away from him to support with AA. Interestingly enough, there are 2 team members that have been left behind, which are Carbon and Aquils, and it looks like the Star Wars team has noticed that. They're currently laying down fire on him. Victorx taking damage from spinal shocks from Carbon and Aquils here.
He's gotta be careful peeking around the rock like that.
The broadside and the 75 up there are still alive, pouring down missile fire into Carbon and Aquils, who are trying to stay behind this rock and not take any damage. The Dreadnought up there just ate a spinal shock, but he's okay. SBY looks to be a little bit stuck at the moment. Their push momentum is gone. They're watching their casualties very carefully.
I think Carbon is
Carbon looks like he's going to go down to a missile salvo here, and the broadside takes him out. And Kirishima's down for the count. There goes another spinal shock there. Missed on Soggy Waffles. And it looks like Aquils is going to come and regroup with his team here. SBY may be out of respawns as well. I don't see any respawns.
No, they
here.
do. They do have spawns.
I was wrong. Carbon back into Lexington. The first ship with a capable fighter
I think they
wing.
got tired of having to wait to kill
Although
them.
it should be noted that Lexington is mostly an intercept carrier. It carries a lot of fighters and does not carry a whole lot of bombers. We'll see what they do with Lexington. He's caught Skillpo off guard, puts a wave potion gun into his side, missiles coming in, fighters coming in. I think this is the end for Skillpo.
I think he's quite dead.
Been caught off guard, showed him his side, and he's gonna go down from a volley of shock cannons here. And he's dead.
Reduced to atoms.
Star Wars has 2 Dreadnoughts and an immobilizer in the front at the moment. In the back there's a Dreadnought, an MC-75, and a broadside. SBY is all grouped behind a rock here.
The trench warfare never stops, baby.
Currently, neither team is willing to move.
And they'd rather just stare at each other.
As allegations come from the Star Wars team of cheating with Carbon's lives. Another spinal shock missed on Soggy Waffles here. Soggy has taken a lot of spinals and is just fine. A lot of shots have been taken on him.
A lot of shots taken, a lot of shots missed.
Can you be a Raptor?
Raptor is my
Raptor's
ship.
a expanse
How about
ship?
you leave it
Not sure
alone?
why. Oh, you believe he's talking about Rape here, which is a different ship. Currently, both teams are at a standstill. Neither is willing to engage.
Good God, we need some new trench warfare music for Stardust.
Point defense being used effectively on Star Wars' side to try and negate some of the damage coming in from missiles. On Tank Killer, it seems. It seems SBY is very, very eager to get rid of that. Broadside over there. It's caused a lot of casualties so far. Gaming Power in his Dreadnought taking fire from the SBY team, which looks like it's finally ready to come out from behind this rock, perhaps.
That's being hopeful.
Unless it's just Druid. It looks like it may just be Druid, but regardless, Gaming Power is very low on health here. And is probably going to lose his ship soon to Carbon, who's in a carrier. Missiles are going out on Gaming Power as he loses his ship to Dreadnought. The fighters deployed off of it, that is. The last immobilizer here, and his Dreadnought buddy, Victorx, as they hold out behind a rock, behind all of SBY.
Star Wars' last stand.
as missiles go out on Tank Killer. Super Saiyan taking a wave machine gun shot here. Here's another respawn for Star Wars. Another Dreadnought. Soggy Waffles pushing in together with his teammate here. I think it would be beneficial for Star Wars if, while these two Dreadnoughts are out taking shots at the SBY team, if Victor X here would actually poke out and help his team. Tank Killer and Super Saiyan taking sustained fire, as they are still priority targets.
They really don't like those missiles, and they want them dead.
Shots going out onto the broadside here. It looks like they're out of range, so they're switching to Soggy Waffles, who is sustaining a lot of damage at the moment. SBY looks like they're splitting into two groups here, one being led by Druid and pushing up. Carbon seems to be joining that group. There's a second group here behind this island of what seems to be mostly Kongos and Mitsus.
It looks like those two ships are gonna get encircled here in a second.
It looks like Alapoke is trying to pull back here, but Victor X is staying put as he pushes up slightly. Soggy Waffles still in engagement with SBY ships as shots go out on him. It looks like Soggy has made it behind cover, but Druid is pushing out and maybe taking his life soon. Victor X still behind this rock as he's taking a lot of fire from fighters.
He has alerted the Horde.
Soggy Waffles and Victor X both being pushed back by the SBY team at the moment.
SBY could just push out and finish this right now.
I find it interesting. Carbon, there he goes. Okay, so Carbon's been hanging back for a while now. And there his fighters finally come. Victor X taking damage here from SBY as he comes under sustained fire. And is probably going to lose his ship in a second here, and there he goes. The last couple of Star Wars ships are spawning in now. Not quite sure what Victor X is on about there. Soggy Waffles firing missiles over the rock to try and whittle away at the health of
Oh, I would
the
watch over those
remaining
concussions.
conventional ships here. As Ackles eats a full barrage
Eats
of
the entire
concussions
self of concussions.
and loses his ship to the broadside. Tank Killer in his broadside has been alive all game, by the way, after his first loss of the Tector.
No, he died one more time in a Devastator.
It looks like Soggy's coming under fire here, as the entire SBY team begins to encircle him. Doesn't look like he'll make it out of this one. And there he goes. Okay, Star Wars currently looks like they have 3 ships remaining. They have an MC-75, a broadside, and an immobilizer behind a rock. As fighters go out on the immobilizer, which looks like he's there to be defending. Unfortunately, Alpoke is taking a lot of damage at the moment, as his ship may be lost. SBY is currently grouped together behind rocks, as they all send their fighters towards Alpoke to try and take him out.
That immobilizer is gonna die if he stays there.
A lot of SBY ships here on very low HP. Piog is taking fire from some fighters from Star Wars at the moment. As missiles go out onto Tank Killer and King Super Saiyan here. Both ships are equipped with missiles. King Super Saiyan has MC-75 has proton torpedoes. Tank Killer has diamond borons and concussions. And I think SBY is trying to get rid of them as soon as possible so they don't take any damage from those concussions any longer. Piog coming under fire here from a missile barrage. It looks like he gets behind cover just in time to avoid it. As Tank Killer continues to sustain more fire, he lets loose a concussion barrage. Looks like it's going to connect with Druid unless he gets behind cover. It looks like he does in time.
Basics of trench warfare. Have cover close on hand.
The last two Star Wars ships here trying to hold out against the SBY forces here, as both teams lob missiles over cover. Allpoke currently trying to manage his best against the fighters being thrown at him by SBY. But it's unclear whether or not he's going to make it through. Gaming power is being concentrated down by the Lexington teams, and even though the fighters from Star Wars are trying their best to intercept, it doesn't look like they get there quickly enough, and gaming power takes a lot of damage from fighters. Currently have half health.
I think it's pretty Trover.
It looks like gaming power is taken out by Lexington. And currently there are 3 Star Wars ships remaining against SBY's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ships. Cog has respawned in an Anlace. As Star Wars seems to be regrouping for their final push. Tank Killer using his turbo lasers here, opening up on the conventional ships behind this rock here.
You know it's bad when your missile ship's using its guns.
Allpoke is taking a lot of damage from fighters, and unfortunately it looks like he's going to go down, and there goes the immobilizer. There are currently 2 Star Wars ships left now. Jeremy respawning in a Mutsu. Tank Killer and King Super Say seem to be the only ones left on their team. Wave Motion Gun going out from Druid. Druid fires it at Tank Killer, who's currently firing back with his broadside and all of his turbos. Fortunately, it does look like Tank Killer is going to try and get behind cover, leaving King Super Saiyan on his own here to take fire. Tank Killer probably is going to live, but I don't think King is making it out of this one, as he takes spinal shocks from multiple different SBY ships.
I think he decided to die in a blaze of glory.
And there he goes. Fighter is dealing the last blow. It looks like Tank Killer is going to take hits from fighters here. It looks like that's his ship gone. And that is it.
With SBY as the winner.
That is the conclusion of the match.
To summarize the results, Star Wars lost 8 assault frigates, 17 dreadnoughts, 1 lancer, 3 ISD-1s, 3 MC-75s, 1 immobilizer 418, 1 Tactor, 2 broadside Mark 1s, 1 Justice, and 2 Devastators. As for SBY, they lost 8 Congos, 2 Storms, 2 Murasames, 8 Mutsus, 1 Dreadnought, 2 Kirishimas, and 3 Nelsons. And this match goes to SBY. I'm back next time for match 3. I'll be waiting.